This is the second largest city in Croatia, Split. It's a major transportation hub with its own international airport, train and bus station, as well as the port with ferries that go all over the mainland Croatia, its many islands, and even Italy. On our journey alone, we visited it twice. First time we came by bus from Zadar to explore the city and find a trailhead for another multiple-day hiking trip. Second time, we were in during a 3 hour transit from Hvar Island ferry to a bus to Dubrovnik. Its foundation split owns to the Roman Emperor Diocletian. The emperor was born in the nearby town of Salona, the capital of Dalmatia at the time, and it was one of the largest cities of the Roman Empire. And here, near his hometown, more than 1700 years ago, he ordered a construction of his retirement fortress, today known as the Diocletian Palace. The fortress was half a luxury villa and half a military garrison. Today it forms about half the old town of Split, and it is what we are going to explore now. We start on the harborside promenade along the old palace walls. This is the seaside walls. Behind them were emperor's chambers, whose windows are now hollow. Today the walls are covered with new buildings, but in Roman times the sea splashed against them. The bronze gate gave access to the palace from a boat. This gate leads directly to the cellars, one of the best preserved ancient complexes of the kind in the world. The cellars also mirror the layout of the emperor's chambers on the upper floors that didn't survive. Fun fact: the palace cellars were featured in the Game of Thrones. It is where Daenerys kept and trained her dragons. Also, they served as her throne room in Meereen. Let's find the Diocletian chambers. By the way, Diocletian was born to a family of low status. He chose the military, quickly rose through the ranks, becoming the emperor's cavalry commander. After the emperor's death, he, at around the age of 39, was proclaimed the new emperor by his troops. Not bad, huh? Here are the remains of the emperor's chambers. His apartment stretched along the entire south facade. It had 42 windows and 3 balconies, all overlooking the sea. Here I am entering his dining room with 3 connecting halls and a bath. Unfortunately, many sections didn't survive. Some parts of the palace are still decaying, and some are only partly preserved. Diocletian too took the empire that was on the brink of collapse. Believing that it was too large, he divided it into the eastern and the western parts, with 2 governments and 2 co-emperors. Reforming the government and the tax system stabilized the economy, enabling it to last for another 350 years. During his reign, Diocletian secured and even extended the empire's borders. Well, the official entrance to Diocletian's quarters was through this central courtyard. The entrance leads to the audience room, rectangular on the outside and round on the inside. The audience hall has four semicircular niches with statues of Roman gods, now missing. The hall also used to be covered with a dome. During Diocletian's reign, Christianity was a growing religion, undermining ancient Roman beliefs. The emperor solved the problem by ordering the largest and bloodiest official persecution of Christianity, slaughtering about 150,000. Besides a small south sea gate called Brass Gate, the palace has three large land gates. This is the Eastern Gate or Silver Gate. It was closed from the Middle Ages till 1952. All land gates lead to the central courtyard with the entrances to Diocletian's quarters, his imperial mausoleum, and the Temple of Jupiter. On May 1st of the year 305, Diocletian unexpectedly resigned, becoming the first Roman emperor to give up the powers voluntarily. When he arrived at his palace, it still hasn't been finished. All work on the construction of the palace was stopped, so some of the parts were never completed. One of them was the Temple of Jupiter. This is the entrance to Temple of Jupiter. The palace was decorated with 12 3,500 years old black granite sphinxes he looted from Egypt. Only three have survived to this day. One is guarding the entrance to his mausoleum. The second sits headless in front of the Jupiter temple. And a third one is housed in the Split Museum. Diocletian lived on for 7 more years, spending his days in his palace gardens. He witnessed his tetrarchic system fail, torn by the selfish ambitions of his successors. Diocletian was laid to rest in a very grand mausoleum built on the central courtyard within the palace. It was 74 feet high, with 9-foot thick walls and a mosaic tile floor. Surrounding it were 28 granite and marble columns. Diocletian sarcophagus stood in the center of the room. After Diocletian's passing, the palace remained in the possession of the Roman court. In the 7th century, the nearby city of Salona was largely destroyed in the invasion of the Avars and Slavs. Some of the refugees found protection inside the palace's strong walls. Since then, the palace has been continuously occupied. Those refugees tossed Diocletian's remains into the Adriatic Sea and converted the mausoleum into a shrine to Saint Domnius, a bishop Diocletian beheaded during his persecution of the Christians. Later, the shrine became a cathedral. The bell tower that rises up from the Cathedral of St. Domnius dates from the 12th century. The northern gate, or Golden Gate, is the grandest of the four gates of the ancient Diocletian palace. Just outside the gate we found a bell tower from the 11th century monastery that was destroyed during the World War II, and an enormous statue of the 10th century Bishop Gregory of Nîmes. He is famous for opposing the rulings of the Roman Catholic Church and performing his masses in local language, making a major impact on the development of the Croatian language and nationality. This is the Iron Gate, one of the four gates. In the Middle Ages, Split grew so much that a new People's Square with many beautiful family palaces was built just outside the Western Gate. Now we are done with the Diocletian Palace, whose remains are listed by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. Today, more than 3,000 people live and work within the palace walls. One of the finest squares in the old town is Fruit Square, with 15th century Venetian tower, houses of the nobility, and a statue of the medieval Croatian philosopher. Now we move further in time into the streets with 19th century and modern buildings. I guess the only thing left for us to check is the beach. It is September 20th, around 1:50 p.m. and we decided to check a beach that is part of the Split town. They have a promenade, so we decided to walk. So we started on the outskirts at the very end of it, and now we're walking towards the center city.
Mhm.
I guess this is it. Bye, Split.